The best part of RV life is the freedom, but sometimes it feels like it's just one thing after another. Our adventure at Big Pine Creek was one of those, where a series of small problems added up to a major test. But the rewards, well, they more than make up for it. This adventure takes us to the heart of California's Eastern Sierra, to the small town of Big Pine. From there, a winding 9-mile road leaves the desert floor behind, climbing high into the mountains and the beautiful Big Pine Creek Canyon. Our time boondocking in the high country comes to an end. And just as we're about to pull onto the highway, wouldn't you know it, a problem pops up. I'm seeing 62 psi on that rear tire, so I'm pulling over to top it off before we hit the highway. We'll just add a few pounds of air before we get back on the road. But the gauge is showing 67 psi, right where it should be. So the tire doesn't need air at all. It's the sensor that's giving us a false reading. With the sensor issue sorted, we're finally making our way south. But as we pass Convict Lake, I catch something flapping in my side mirror. The driver's side cargo bay door is unlatched and swinging open in the highway. Luckily, it's just a loose latch and not a yard sale of our equipment all over the 395. Okay, take two. Let's try to make it to Bishop without any more surprises. Entering Bishop, we're greeted by a wall of orange signs. Hopefully, this doesn't block our access to fuel and the dump station. Of course, driving through Bishop means passing the ultimate temptation. We're forcing ourselves to drive by for now, but we'll be back. Some things in Bishop never change, and thankfully, this old saloon is one of them. It's been a local fixture since the early 50s. But not everything here is from the 1950s. This speedway is a relatively new addition, taking over what I always remember as the old Arco station. But the real draw for any RVer is the efficiency. We can get fuel, empty our tanks, and fill up with fresh water all in one stop. We just pull around to the back of the station, and everything we need is right there. While there's no official fee to use the dump, they do encourage a donation to a local children's hospital, which you can make right inside the store. While some use this spigot to fill, we only ever use it for rinsing. The correct spot for the fresh tank is right behind us. It's a fantastic, well thought out setup, and we really appreciate it. The temperature is really starting to climb. We're definitely glad to have our chores behind us so we can start gaining some altitude and hopefully find some cooler air. That's our destination on the right, a climb from this hot desert floor thousands of feet up into the heart of the Sierra. Coming up on the left is the turn for the bristlecone pines, an adventure we're saving for a few weeks from now. Our focus today, however, is the Sierra, so we're making this right turn to get on the road to the canyon. Gotta love the GPS shortcut, saving us from the 2 or 3 cars that might be in downtown Big Pine right now. And finally, we're on Glacier Lodge Road. Down here in the valley, the name feels a bit ambitious, but this road is our ticket up the mountain and into cooler air. We're now tracing the path of Big Pine Creek as it tumbles down the mountain beside us. This road we're on today really owes its existence to the legendary fishing in Big Pine Creek. The first rustic fishing camps were built up here in the 1920s, and that demand for access is what turned a mule trail into a modern road. And before the fishermen, you have to imagine what it was like for the miners who first carved trails into this rugged canyon. All we can say is, we're incredibly grateful we have this powerful truck to make the climb today. This is always my favorite part of the drive. You can literally feel the temperature dropping as we finally climb out of the desert and into the forest. And there it is, Upper Sage Flat. We've officially made it to our home for the next few nights. My number one priority when booking was an open sky for solar and internet. The one thing you can never really tell online, though, is just how level a site truly is. And this site? Well, let's just say that level was not the top priority when they designed this particular spot. This is where the mental math begins. My first thought is that our tongue jack doesn't have nearly enough travel to make this happen. One block under the jack won't give us nearly enough height, but a stack of 2 is too tall to fit. This means we have to do it in stages. The key to this whole process is the hitch itself. Because the waist safe is so easy to invert, I can use it as a makeshift stand for the first stage of the lift. This is definitely one of our tougher leveling jobs. We'd love to hear about your worst leveling nightmare in the comments below. It's not long before our neighbor Pat comes over to see what all the commotion is about, and to see if he can help. So, it's finally level. Let's just say we'll be stepping very lightly in the front bedroom for the next few days. With the trailer finally set up, it's time to stretch our legs and explore our new home, the Upper Sage Flat Campground. And up ahead on the left is our neighbor Pat's rig. It's actually the same model as ours, just a couple of years newer. As we're walking the upper loop, a small footbridge catches our eye, crossing the creek just beyond the campsite. We're not ones to pass up a mystery bridge, so we're heading over to see where it leads. The creek is running really high and fast through here. It's an exciting preview of the landscape we're planning to hike into tomorrow. Well, what do you know? It's the main Creekside Trail. From right here, we can head downstream to Sage Flat Campground or upstream towards Glacier Lodge. You always think of cacti as strictly low desert plants, but it turns out certain species of prickly pear are tough enough to survive way up here in the mountains. Dang is getting some amazing footage of the rapids down below. Meanwhile, I'm using this opportunity to solve a little mystery about these trees. And believe it or not, this is the definitive test. It's a Jeffrey pine, and the bark has an unmistakable smell of vanilla. What a fantastic and unexpected adventure this turns out to be. It's just a taste of what's to come, because tomorrow the real challenge begins with the main hike up the canyon. So we're heading back to the trailer now to rest up and prepare for the big day. And on our way back, there's Pat enjoying the evening outside. We stopped by for a quick chat and learned that he's traveling with a whole crew of friends and family across these neighboring sites. Man, these guys know how to pick their campsites, right next to the creek. Morning in the High Sierra has a special kind of quiet. The air is cool and crisp, a perfect start for a big day on the trail. Of course, no adventure begins without that last-minute hunt for a missing piece of gear. With everything finally located, it's the most important step, lacing up our boots. And with that, we're off, leaving our home base behind for the trailhead just up the road. We're passing the overnight parking area now. For day hikers like us, the trailhead we want is just a bit further up the road. And here's the final hurdle of the morning, finding parking. The lot is almost completely full, which is crazy for a Thursday. It just goes to show an early start here isn't a suggestion, it's a necessity. Incredibly, we found the last spot left and just fit. With the parking situation handled, there's nothing left to do but start hiking. The moment we step onto the trail, we're hit with the roar of rushing rapids and the cool mist they kick up into the air. Decades of spring runoff have washed the soil away, and in some places you're literally walking on the ancient roots of the forest. The views are already this spectacular, and we've barely started climbing. It makes us really excited to see what's waiting for us further up the trail. The path is well maintained, and these stone steps are a big help on the initial ascent. So let's lay out the reality of this hike, because the numbers are no joke. We're starting at nearly 8,000 feet, and the climb to just the first leg is 4.5 miles with over 2,000 feet of elevation gain. On top of that, we're not fully acclimated to this altitude yet. But even if we don't make it all the way, we have two good things on our side. First, this trail is stunning right from the start, so any distance we cover is a reward in itself. And second, our main objective for today is that historic cabin, about 3 miles up the canyon. Now what's this? It looks like a bridge crossing right over what I'm guessing is the first major waterfall on the trail. You know, this waterfall is a worthy destination all by itself. It's a perfect goal if you're looking for a much shorter, less strenuous hike in this canyon. As beautiful as that waterfall is, it's not our main goal for today. We still have a long way to go to reach the cabin. So what's the story with this place? It was custom built in the late 1920s for the legendary silent film star Lon Chaney. He leased this land from the Forest Service and commissioned the now famous architect Paul R. Williams to design his private mountain retreat. Unfortunately, Chaney passed shortly after the cabin was completed, but it was built so well with thick granite blocks that it's still standing even today. Even from a distance, the allure of that second waterfall is undeniable. Keeping our eyes on that prize makes this tough ascent a little more bearable. And high up on the Palisade crest, we can finally see them, the glaciers. It's an incredible sight, but we're being realistic. A destination that high is not in the cards for us today. To get up there and back is a brutal 16-mile day with over 5,000 feet of climbing. Well, you can add lizards to the list of things I didn't think we'd see at this elevation. But heck, after seeing a cactus thriving yesterday, maybe we should start expecting the unexpected. Okay, another bridge crossing. We're leaving this side of the canyon for a while to continue the climb. Now a decision, the main trail or this lower trail alternate? From my experience, a lower route usually means you just have the steeper climb later on, so we're going to stick to the main trail. And there's another one. This little guy is even higher up the canyon than the last. I wonder how they deal with all the snow. It turns out lizards aren't the only wildlife we'll spot today. Down on that lower trail we decided to skip, a beautiful doe is making her way through the trees. Our long lens lets us get a much closer look without disturbing her. I have to be honest. This is probably our least favorite part of the trail so far. We've lost most of the tree cover and it's getting surprisingly warm, easily into the 80s, which feels crazy at this altitude. We've made it to the John Muir Wilderness boundary, and not a moment too soon. The second waterfall is just up the trail, and with it, a welcome return to the cool shade of the forest. I can't even begin to describe how good this cool mist feels. After that long exposed climb in the sun, this is exactly the reward we needed. But even with the refreshing mist, a deeper problem is making itself known. The lightheadedness, the labored breathing, they're the undeniable signs of altitude sickness setting in. And this is where we have to make the tough call. Pushing further just isn't safe. We have to turn around, even if it means not reaching our goal of the cabin. To mix things up a little bit, on the way down, we're taking the lower trail we passed earlier. This mountain mahogany is absolutely covered in what looks like delicate flowers. But there's a cool fact. Those aren't blooms at all. They're the plant's seeds, each with a long feathery tail to help it fly on the wind. I've never seen a display this impressive. The geology along this lower trail is just fascinating. You see these incredible stripes running through the granite boulders everywhere. Those are called intrusive dikes, formed millions of years ago when molten rock was forced into cracks in the cooling granite, creating these beautiful permanent scars. Every turn on this path reveals something new. Here are the remains of an old structure lost to time. It's humbling to realize we're just the latest in a long line of people who've walked through this canyon. Back at the trailhead, it's always good to retrace the day's journey. We made a strong push to the second waterfall, and while it wasn't as far as we'd originally hoped, it was still a beautiful and challenging day. It's a good reminder that every hike is a success, no matter how far you get. Before heading back to camp, we decide to make a quick stop at the historic Glacier Lodge. We'll go inside and grab a couple of well-earned local beers. And we have a great chat with Michelle, who works here. She gives us some fantastic info. It turns out they do serve food, and on Saturdays, this whole outdoor area comes live with a big barbecue celebration. She's also kind enough to let us take a peek at one of their classic rental cabins. It's a really charming, rustic spot for anyone visiting without an RV. On the way out, we get a look at their RV spots. They only have a few, but it's another great option for camping right here at the base of the trailhead. All that hiking and exploring has definitely worked up an appetite. We're heading back to our site now, where Dang is planning on whipping up a delicious Thai dinner. Back at camp, just watching Dang get all the ingredients prepped is enough to make your mouth water. My taste buds are already anticipating a delicious Pad-Prik-Nau-Mai. The rice is perfectly steamed. And that's when we realize the day has one final, tiny challenge for us. We have no can opener. Before the adventure of a new day can begin, there's often the work of the last adventure to finish up. This is a little behind-the-scenes look at my high-tech sound booth, also known as my daughter's 20-year-old princess blanket, to kill the echo in here. And it's not all epic hikes and beautiful views. Today is an errand day. We're heading down into Big Pine to tackle a long list of chores, starting with the most important one, solving our can opener crisis. Add one more item to today's list. What a difference a direction makes. The 9-mile drive that was such a long, steady climb a few days ago is now a quick, easy coast all the way back down into town. Okay, first things first. We're in desperate need of some good caffeine. We got a tip about a local coffee shop, so we're heading there to fuel up for the day's errands. For a small town, Big Pine has some surprisingly cool spots, and this place definitely has character. We're immediately greeted by their mascot and their motto. A coffee shop that serves great coffee and doesn't take itself too seriously is an absolute win in our book. This place is full of surprises. We were just expecting pastries, but they have a full breakfast menu. After a lot of debate, we go with a loaded bagel and what looks like their famous crunch wrap. The vibe in here is fantastic, a nice, steady crowd. It's clearly a favorite for both local community and people just passing through. And after the first sip, it's easy to see why this place is so popular. The coffee is fantastic, and the food is absolutely delicious. The Everything Bagel with avocado is a fantastic meat-free option, and this crunch wrap is like a perfectly grilled breakfast quesadilla. It's so good. We're making a decision right now. This is now our official must-stop in Big Pine. With breakfast done, we're taking a quick stroll to check out the rest of the town. Just next door is Rossi's Place, which we hear is a fantastic spot for authentic Italian food and pizza. The friendly lady at Brewed Awakening points us across the street, telling us the general store is our best bet for finding the can opener we need. And what's really convenient is that the town's laundromat is right next door to the market, so it's great when we can knock out 2 errands at once. You honestly can't make this up. The general store is next to the laundromat, and it's also the gas station. We can literally do all of our errands without moving the truck. This place is officially our hero. we find the mission-critical can opener and the specific battery for the key fob. This little market has absolutely everything. Oh, and they have a beer cave. That's a welcome sight, especially when you're dealing with those 100+ degree days. The forecast is calling for a hot afternoon, even up at our campsite. So while we're here, I'm grabbing some extra gas for the generator, just in case we want to run the AC. Errands complete. Time to head back up the mountain and finally make that Thai stir-fry for dinner. While Dang finally gets started on the food, I'm tackling my own little project, replacing the battery in the truck's key fob. We never had to do this before, but I'm thinking, how hard can it be? Turns out the hardest part is getting the old battery out. Scratch that. Prying the old battery out is nothing. The real challenge is getting the new one out of this Fort Knox style plastic packaging. Alright, one problem solved. Now back to the main event. Let's just pray the can opener itself doesn't require another tool to get it out of its packaging. And with the can opener crisis officially averted, Dang is going to show us how to make one of her specialties, Pad-Prik-Nau-Mai. It literally translates to spicy stir-fried bamboo shoots, and it's the perfect rewarding meal after a long couple of days. She starts by getting the wok good and hot. Then add some pure peanut oil. In goes the minced garlic and chilies, cooked until aromatic. We're using ground turkey, but you can use any meat. Let that brown. Next, she adds the bamboo shoots. Then it's time for the grachai, or finger root. This is a relative of ginger, but it has an earthier flavor. She's also adding some pickled green peppercorns for a fresh, aromatic spice. And here's a fun fact, these are the exact same berries as the black pepper in your grinder, just picked when they're young and unripe. After this, the veggies go in, except the green onions. They'll go in near the end so we don't overcook them. And now for the sauces that create the flavor base for so many amazing Thai dishes. Dang is adding the holy trinity of Southeast Asian cooking. Fish sauce for saltiness, soy sauce for depth, and a touch of oyster sauce for a sweet umami flavor. And just a little bit of sugar. It's not really to make the dish sweet, but to balance out all those salty and spicy flavors. For the final touch, the green onions go in at the very end. Tossing them in now ensures they stay bright and crunchy in the finished dish. And with the heat off, there's only one thing left to do. Serve this beautiful, fragrant stir-fry over a bed of jasmine rice. Our dinner is finally ready. You may be wondering, what's my contribution to this amazing dinner? I'm handling the very important job of quality control. And I can officially report it passes inspection.
Yummy.